In the old days, our elders used to say, not every fire is for cooking. Because sometimes, a fire is for calling things that should never answer. There is a restaurant along the Akon Road, halfway between the city and the villages, where travelers stop when hunger beats them like a drum. From the outside, it looks harmless, a small wooden building, a tin roof, and one lantern that never goes out. But those who know, never eat there after dark. Because if you sit at that table and accept the food, the restaurant may not just take your money. It might take your name. And once your name is taken, even your mother may look at you and feel nothing. This is the story of Nneka, the girl who laughed at warnings, and paid with something more expensive than gold. Nneka was the type of person the city creates, sharp, fast, and stubborn like dry cassava. She worked in the market offices, counting stock, arguing with suppliers, making sure everyone paid what they owed. She believed in receipts, not in spirits. She believed in money, not in myths. One Friday evening, she boarded a bus heading to her mother's village for a family gathering. The journey was supposed to be 4 hours. It became 7. The bus broke down twice. The sky turned bruised purple, then black. The road became a ribbon of darkness cut only by the headlights. A baby cried. Someone complained. Someone prayed. And hunger started walking from seat to seat. Nneka had only eaten a small bread that morning. Now her stomach felt like it was folding itself into knots. When the bus finally rode near the middle of nowhere, the driver slowed down. Everybody, the driver announced, we will stop here to eat small. 10 minutes. Nneka looked through the window and saw it, a roadside restaurant with one lantern burning, swinging gently like it was breathing. The signboard was old and peeling, but the words could still be read, Mama Ejiro's place, food always ready. Outside, the air smelled like pepper soup, fried plantain, and roasted meat. Nneka's mouth watered. As passengers started climbing down, an old man in the back of the bus gripped the driver's arm. Driver, the old man said, voice like dry leaves, not there. The driver frowned. Baba, we are hungry. The old man leaned close. In the daytime, you can buy water and go. But after dark, nobody eats there and returns whole. The bus erupted with laughter. Baba, I beg, someone shouted. Old stories. Nneka smacked. If spirits are hungry, let them eat the food themselves. I'm eating. The old man's eyes met hers. Not angry, just heavy. My daughter, he said, even goat has sense to avoid the rope. Nneka stood up anyway. She stepped down onto the dusty ground, and as her feet touched the earth, the lantern outside flickered once, as if recognizing her. Inside the restaurant, the warmth was immediate. A pot bubbled over fire. Plates clinked. The radio played softly, but the music sounded far away, like it was underwater. The walls were decorated with old photographs, people smiling, families posing. But something about the photos felt strange. Their eyes seemed too still. A woman stepped out from behind the curtain. She was tall, wrapped in a clean wrapper, with a head tied high like a crown. Her smile was wide, too wide. Welcome, my children, she said. Sit, sit. Food is ready. Her voice was sweet, like someone who sells honey. Nneka sat at a wooden table. The bench creaked beneath her. Around her, other passengers ate greedily. But when Nneka looked closer, she noticed something odd. No one spoke. Not the loud woman who had been complaining on the bus. Not the man who had been laughing. They chewed, swallowed, and stared ahead like their minds were somewhere else. A young girl appeared and placed a bowl in front of Nneka. It was pepper soup, steaming, thick with scent. Beside it, white rice and a piece of meat. Nneka reached for a spoon and saw the girl's wrist. A thin rope-like scar circled it, like a tight string had once cut deep into her skin. Nneka blinked. Mama, Nneka called, how much? Mama Ejiro smiled. Eat first. We will settle later. Nneka frowned. No, I pay now. Mama Ejiro's smile did not move, but her eyes darkened slightly. In this place, she said gently, we don't rush payment. Eat first. Something in the air thickened. Nneka forced a laugh. Okay. Let me just add salt. She reached for the small salt container in the center of the table. But the container was empty. She looked around. Every table had a salt container. Everyone was empty. Nneka raised her hand. Please, salt. The young girl froze. Mama Ejiro stepped forward quickly. We don't use salt here, Mama Ejiro said, still smiling. Salt spoils the taste. A man at the next table, eyes glazed, whispered without looking up. Don't ask for salt. Nneka paused. In her village, elders always said, salt is protection. Salt preserves. Salt seals. Salt stops certain things from crossing into you. Nneka laughed again, but the sound came out smaller. It's fine, she muttered. I'll eat. She lifted the spoon. The steam rose into her face like a warm hand. And just as the first bite touched her tongue, she felt a cold shiver travel down her spine. The taste was good. Too good. So good it made her eyes water. The second bite went down easily. The third bite. Her stomach relaxed for the first time in hours. She breathed out, satisfied. Then she heard it. From behind the curtain, a whisper. Not one whisper, many. Like people talking low in a room full of secrets. Nneka set her spoon down slowly. Who is behind there? She asked. Mama Ejiro placed a hand on her shoulder. Nothing, she said. Eat. Her hand felt cold. Nneka tried to ignore it. She focused on the food. But her eyes kept drifting to the photographs on the wall. One photo showed a family, a mother, father, 2 children. They were smiling. Yet something was wrong. The father's face was unfinished. Like someone had rubbed it slightly, trying to erase him. Another photo showed a young woman holding a tray, smiling brightly. Nneka's throat tightened. The woman in the photo looked like Nneka. Not exactly, but close enough that her skin prickled. Nneka stood up, walking closer. The closer she got, the more her heart began to beat like a talking drum. Because beneath the photo frame was a small label, written in neat handwriting. Nneka, first visit. Nneka's legs turned soft. She had never been here before. She backed away, knocking into her table. Her bowl rattled. Mama Ejiro was suddenly beside her. You like the pictures? Mama Ejiro asked. Nneka swallowed hard. Why is my name there? Mama Ejiro's smile widened. Because, she said softly, names travel before bodies arrive. Nneka's mouth went dry. The radio crackled and the song changed into something that sounded like chanting. Nneka looked at the other passengers again. Their chewing was slower now. Their eyes were dull. One woman's hand trembled as she lifted her spoon, as if she was forgetting how to eat. Nneka tried to step toward the door. Mama Ejiro's hand tightened on her shoulder. Not painful, but firm, like a chain disguised as skin. Sit, Mama Ejiro said. Nneka forced herself to sit. Mama Ejiro leaned in, her breath smelling like smoke and sweetness. You are a city girl, Mama Ejiro whispered. You think you are too wise for village warnings. But hunger humbles everyone. Nneka's voice came out thin. I'm leaving. Mama Ejiro chuckled. After you finish, she said. We don't waste food here. Nneka stared at her bowl. Half of the food was gone. Suddenly, she didn't feel hungry anymore. Her stomach felt heavy, like something inside her was settling in. She pushed the bowl away. I'm done. Mama Ejiro clapped her hands once. The young girl appeared again, holding a small notebook and a short pencil. Mama Ejiro spoke as if she was reading prices. Pepper soup, rice, meat. Your bill is one name. Nneka laughed nervously. One name. How much is it in naira? Mama Ejiro tilted her head. We don't take naira for night meals. Nneka reached into her bag quickly. She pulled out cash and dropped it on the table. There. Take it. The young girl didn't touch it. Mama Ejiro pushed the money back gently, like it was dirty. I said your bill is one name, she repeated patiently. Give me your name. Nneka's heart hammered. You already know my name, Nneka said. It's on your wall. Mama Ejiro's eyes glinted. We know the sound, she said. But we need permission to keep it. Nneka stood abruptly, chair scraping. Are you mad? I'm going. She walked fast to the door. Her hand grabbed the handle. She pulled. The door didn't move. She pulled harder. Still nothing. Nneka turned. Open this door. The restaurant had become quiet. Even the pot bubbling seemed to hush. Mama Ejiro walked slowly toward her. You want to leave, Mama Ejiro said, but you have eaten. When you eat from a place, you carry it inside you. That is how it works. Nneka's voice shook. What do you want? Mama Ejiro's smile disappeared for the first time. I want what hunger brought you to give, she said. A name. A piece of identity. A thread from your destiny. Nneka backed away until her back hit the wall. The young girl stepped forward and held out the notebook. Write it, Mama Ejiro said. Nneka stared at the blank page. Her hand trembled. No, she whispered. Mama Ejiro's eyes flashed. You will, she said. And suddenly the whispers behind the curtain rose like a storm. Nneka clutched her head. Voices, too many, calling her. Not her name, but pieces of her life. Market woman, stubborn child, daughter of Ngozi, city rat, bride that never marries. Nneka screamed. Stop. Mama Ejiro grabbed Nneka's wrist and pressed the pencil into her hand. The pencil felt hot. Right, Mama Ejiro commanded. Nneka tried to throw it, but her fingers wouldn't open. She looked down in horror as her hand moved by itself. Slowly, shakily, her hand began to write letters on the page. N. E. Nneka's eyes widened. She tried to fight it, but the pencil continued. K. When the final letter was written, the lantern in the restaurant flared bright, then dimmed. Mama Ejiro exhaled, satisfied. Payment received, she said. Nneka's body went cold. She opened her mouth to speak. And no sound came out. Not because her throat was blocked, but because the word she needed was missing. Her name. It was like trying to remember a song you've known all your life, only to find the chorus gone. Nneka clutched her chest. What is happening to me? She tried to say. But even her own voice sounded unfamiliar. Mama Ejiro stepped back politely, like a businesswoman after a transaction. Go, she said. The road is waiting. And suddenly, the door clicked open. Nneka stumbled outside. The night air slapped her face. The road was quiet. The bus headlights glowed like two tired eyes. She ran toward the bus. Driver, she tried to shout. The driver looked up, annoyed. Madam, hurry up. Nneka climbed onto the bus, panting. She looked around for the old man who warned them. He was still there, sitting quietly. Their eyes met. And the old man's face tightened with pity. Nneka rushed to him and grabbed his arm, trying to explain with gestures because her words were tangled. The old man listened, his gaze heavy. Then he asked softly, "What is your name?" Nneka opened her mouth. "Nothing." She tried again. Her tongue moved, but the sound would not form. The old man's shoulders sank. "They took it," he murmured. The driver started the bus. Nneka's mind raced. She needed help. She needed someone to remember her. She turned to the woman next to her, the loud one who had been complaining earlier. "Please," Nneka whispered, "help me." The woman looked at her blankly, then frowned. "Madam, do I know you?" she asked. Nneka froze. She looked around at the passengers she had traveled with for hours. Nobody looked at her with recognition. To them, she was just a stranger who had entered the bus. A cold fear settled in Nneka's stomach. If nobody remembered her, who would speak for her if something happened? Who would claim her if she disappeared? She reached into her bag for her phone. Her hands shook as she unlocked it. Her contacts were there. But when she opened her own profile, the name field was empty. No Nneka. Just a blank space. Her WhatsApp profile picture was still her face, but the name above it was gone. Nneka began to tremble. She dialed her mother's number. It rang. Her mother answered. "My daughter," her mother said warmly. Relief flooded Nneka. Until her mother added, "Who is this?" Nneka's heart cracked. "Mama, it's me." Nneka cried. Her mother's voice turned cautious. "Me? Who are you?" Nneka's throat tightened. It was happening exactly as Mama Ejiro promised. Her own mother did not know her. Nneka hung up and pressed her forehead against the seat, shaking. The old man leaned close. "My daughter," he said, "listen carefully. That restaurant is not for food alone. It feeds on what makes people human: name, memory, story. If you want your name back, you must pay a different price." Nneka looked up with desperate eyes. "What price?" she whispered. The old man's gaze turned hard. "Truth," he said. "And courage." The old man adjusted his cap and spoke quietly so the driver wouldn't hear. "Long ago," he began, "that place was not a restaurant. It was a shrine beside the road. Travelers poured palm wine there and spoke prayers for safe journey. But when greed entered the heart of the caretaker, he stopped serving spirits with respect. He began to bargain with them. He asked for power, for influence, for long life. The spirits agreed, because spirits love deals. But they don't use money the way humans do." The old man sighed. The caretaker opened a restaurant to cover the shrine. He fed travelers. And at night, he collected payments that were not money. "Names," Nneka whispered. "Yes," the old man replied. "Names are keys. A name can open a person's destiny. That is why witches call people's names. That is why elders protect children's names." Nneka hugged herself. "How do I get it back?" she asked. The old man looked at her for a long time. "Do you have salt?" he asked. Nneka blinked. "Salt?" The old man nodded. "Salt and bitter cola. Or even alligator pepper. But salt is best." Nneka searched her bag wildly. She found nothing. Then she remembered the small sachet of salt she used earlier for her boiled egg at work. She always kept one extra in her purse. Her fingers dug into the side pocket. And there it was. A small sachet. Nneka held it up like treasure. The old man exhaled. "Good. You are not finished." He leaned closer. "When we reach the next junction, you must get down. The bus will not wait for you. But your life may depend on going back. Nneka stared at him. Go back there. Alone. The old man's voice was firm. You went there with pride. Go back with humility. And remember, they can only keep what you surrender. If you stand strong, your name will return to your mouth like a bird finding its nest. Nneka swallowed hard, fear and determination mixing. The bus continued down the road. Soon they reached a junction, a lonely place where 3 roads met like fingers. The driver slowed. Anybody coming down? Nneka stood, knees shaking. The old man grabbed her wrist briefly and pressed something into her palm. It was a small, rough bead, dark red. Alligator pepper seed, he whispered. Chew it when fear enters you. Then he released her. Nneka stepped down. The bus drove off, leaving her in darkness. The wind blew across the junction like it was trying to push her back. But Nneka turned toward the restaurant's direction and began to walk. The road back felt longer than before. Every sound was louder. Every shadow looked like it had eyes. Nneka clutched the salt sachet and the pepper seed. After some minutes, she saw the lantern again, still swinging, still lit. But now the restaurant looked different. In the darkness, it seemed older. The building's edges blurred, like it wasn't fully in the human world. Nneka stepped onto the dusty ground. Immediately, the whisper started again, faint at first. She approached the door. It was open. Inside, it was quiet. Too quiet. No radio. No pot bubbling. Only the lantern light and the smell of food that was not cooking. Mama Ejiro stood in the middle of the room as if she had been waiting. You returned, Mama Ejiro said pleasantly. Nneka swallowed. I want my name, she said, voice shaking but clear. Mama Ejiro smiled. Names are not returned. They are replaced. Nneka tightened her grip on the salt. I'm not leaving without it, she said. Mama Ejiro began to walk around Nneka slowly like a cat around a rat. You are brave now, Mama Ejiro murmured. Or foolish? Which one do you think it is? Nneka's heart pounded, but she remembered the old man's words, they can only keep what you surrender. She reached into her mouth and chewed the alligator pepper seed. The sharp bitterness exploded on her tongue. Her eyes watered, but her mind cleared like a fog lifting. Mama Ejiro paused. Oh, Mama Ejiro said softly. Protection. Nneka raised the salt sachet. Give me my name back. Mama Ejiro's smile faded. You ate without salt. The deal is sealed. Nneka shook her head. Then I will unseal it. And before Mama Ejiro could move, Nneka tore the salt sachet open and flung the salt in a circle around herself. The grains hit the floor like tiny sparks. The air changed instantly. The lantern flickered violently. The shadows on the wall jerked like trapped things. From behind the curtain, a hiss rose, angry, hungry. Mama Ejiro stepped back, eyes narrowing. You dare, Mama Ejiro whispered. Nneka's voice grew stronger, surprising herself. I came with hunger. I came with pride. But I am leaving with my name. Mama Ejiro's face hardened. And for the first time, her human mask slipped. Her eyes looked too deep. Her teeth looked too sharp. Her skin looked like it was struggling to stay smooth. You want your name? Mama Ejiro said, voice layered with something else. Then pay properly. The curtain behind her billowed outward, though there was no wind. A figure stepped out. Then another. Then another. People. Dozens. But their faces were blurred, like unfinished paintings. They stood silently, watching. Nneka's knees threatened to give. But she stood inside her salt circle, breathing hard. Mama Ejiro pointed at Nneka. Choose, she said. Your name, or your secret? Nneka frowned. My secret. Mama Ejiro's smile returned, cruel now. Every person has a secret they hide, Mama Ejiro said. Something that shapes them. Something they fear. Give me your secret, and I will return your name. Nneka's chest tightened. She thought of her life. Of the lie she carried. The thing she never told anyone. She understood. This was the true payment. Mama Ejiro didn't just want her name. She wanted the story behind the name, something she could use, something she could feed on. Nneka's eyes burned. I won't, she said. Mama Ejiro's voice dropped. Then remained nameless. The faceless people took a step forward together. Nneka's fear rose like a wave. But then she remembered something else elders say. If you don't speak your truth, someone else will speak it for you. Nneka swallowed. Her hands trembled. And then, she made a decision. Nneka lifted her chin. You want my secret, she said, voice breaking. Fine. Mama Ejiro leaned in, eager. Nneka's heart pounded so hard she thought it would burst. I pretend I don't believe in spirits, Nneka said. I laugh at elders. I act like I'm stronger than everyone. Her voice shook. But the truth is, I'm afraid. Mama Ejiro's smile twitched. Nneka continued. I'm afraid because when I was small, I watched my father die. He called my name, he called it again and again until his voice went quiet. Nneka's eyes filled with tears. And since then, I've been afraid that if I stop fighting, if I stop controlling everything, I will lose people again. Silence filled the room. Even the whispers paused, listening. Mama Ejiro's eyes narrowed, annoyed. That is not a secret, she hissed. That is pain. Nneka breathed hard. It's my truth, she said. And I'm not giving it to you. I'm owning it. Mama Ejiro's face contorted. The lantern flared. The faceless people hissed. But Nneka, still inside her salt circle, felt something shift. Like a chain loosening. She opened her mouth and said slowly, firmly. My name is... The word stuck for a second, like a fishbone in the throat. Nneka clenched her fist, pushing through fear, through darkness, through whatever held her. My name is Nneka. The moment she said it, the restaurant shook. The photographs on the wall rattled. Frames fell. Glass shattered. Mama Ejiro screamed, not in anger, but in frustration, like someone losing a prize. You spoke it. Mama Ejiro roared. You took it back. Nneka's chest heaved. She could feel her name settle inside her again like warm water after cold rain. Mama Ejiro lunged forward. But the salt line burned like fire against her feet. She recoiled, snarling. Nneka didn't wait. She stepped backward toward the door, never breaking her gaze. Mama Ejiro's voice followed her, venomous. You may keep your name, but you will remember this hunger. Nneka's hand found the doorframe. She stepped out into the night. The lantern behind her flickered once, twice. Then went out. Darkness swallowed the restaurant. And when Nneka turned to look again, the building was gone. Only bush and empty road remained. Nneka walked until her feet hurt. She reached the main road as the sky began to lighten. At sunrise, a small taxi passed and stopped when the driver saw her. Madam, why are you walking like this? He asked. Nneka's voice was hoarse, but steady. Take me to Okuru village, she said. Please. When she arrived, her mother opened the door. Her mother stared at her face for a long time. Then her mother's eyes widened, filling with tears. My daughter, her mother whispered. Nneka's knees buckled. She hugged her mother tightly, breathing in the smell of home, wood smoke, soap, and familiar warmth. Later, when the family gathered, Nneka didn't brag about the city. She didn't mock elders. Instead, she listened. And when the old women talked about salt and names and crossroads, Nneka didn't laugh. Because she had learned something the hard way. Some warnings are not to scare you. They are to save you. So if you ever travel at night and you see a restaurant with a lantern that never goes out, and a woman smiling too widely, remember Nneka. Because hunger can make you forget wisdom. And sometimes, the most expensive meal is the one you didn't pay for with money. If you want more African folktales like this, stories our elders whispered at night, subscribe, like, and share. And tell me in the comments, would you have eaten the food or walked away?